Nathan, the Crawley match end result, much like the Stockport game, is heavily reliant on our ability to go toe-to-toe with teams that try to dominate us physically. Firstly, how much satisfaction does it give you that we competed in that way in both games? And secondly, how important is that going to be, and that side of the game going to be in the remaining 10 games of the season?
Well, look, I'm a firm believer you have to do both sides of the game. You know, I'm not an in-possession coach or an out-of-possession coach. We try to do both sides of the game, because if you want to achieve something, you've got to do that. Now, what was pleasing is I think whatever we come up against, we can cope with. You know, if it's something that's a really good football inside, we back ourselves. If someone's a physical side, then we can compete and we can do that, and we can more than match, you know, teams, and that's a pleasing thing. That's a good position to be in. Look, a lot of that comes from recruitment. A lot of that comes from obviously what we do and how we coach and stuff. So yeah, any result is pleasing, but in the manner, you know, we've had to show a lot of facets of our play and our style, and yeah, I'm pleased with the position we're in.
10 games ago, we were 10th and 15 points off second. With 10 games to go, we're now up to 4th, 5 points off second. Does that show just how much can change in a relatively short space of time, and how much is still possible as we hit those last 10?
Well, look, for us, it's just about progress. You know, we constantly speak about an evolution process, about, first and foremost, you know, if you come into the club, you have to get a solid foundation. First and foremost, last year we had to make sure we stayed in the league. We had to get results by hook or crook or whatever we had to do to make sure that we were, you know, giving us a chance to do something this year by still being a League One side. Then from pre-season, we've tried to lay down a real solid foundation, and from that solid foundation, then work on fluency and attacking structure and all the things we do. But there's no point having a good attacking structure if you need 2-3 goals to win a game every game. So we've from a solid base, you know, we built something, and then now we are evolving as a footballing and as a real progressive and penetrative side, and that's only time. And look, in 10 games time, I expect us to be a better team, and through pre-season I expect us to be a better team, because if we're not, then I'm not doing my job properly.
With regards to the physicality that I mentioned, we saw Lloyd Jones run through probably the pain barrier, the opposition, and even the goalpost Tuesday night. Does that typify the type of squad that you've got at your disposal now?
Look, I think everyone's in a good place. I think Lloyd is someone that epitomises how we play. He's bold, he's brave, he's doing really, really well. You know, he's a different player to what I've had what I had at Luton, because he's mature, he's bought into everything, he's learning, he wants to learn, and he's in a good place, confident-wise and things. So he does epitomise everything. But if you look at, you know, other performances, and it's wrong to single out people, but I thought that was Macaulay Gillespie's best game. I thought he was outstanding in terms of, you know, and he is a totally different animal from what my first game in charge, where you know, when we went to Reading. Now he's everything I want in that, you know, wide centre half role, and there was so many of those. But collectively we had to be good the other night, because as we said, they were a very, very tricky team, and when the ball broke down they were already set up to go and attack you, so we had to be very, very good. And look, I can't remember our goalkeeper making a save the other day. I can't. I'm struggling to think of that. So it shows that we defend, and they created some chances, but we defended superbly well. I mean, there's, you know, stuff on our debrief, on our video. Croy Anderson made a block near post, tracked his runner, did a header. Now they're goal scoring opportunities if we don't do our jobs, and that's what we had to do, because Crawley are a very, very in possession. They're a very, very good side and a tricky side to play against.
Mentioned about running through the pain barrier. Josh Edwards came off what looked like a groin injury. How is he? Do we know yet how serious that was?
No, we don't. We're monitoring that, and it's just stiffness, really. It's a fatigue when there wasn't a mechanism, so it's not a really bad pull or anything. It was just a fatigue one, really, because he's massive distances. He plays on the edge all the time in terms of his athleticism and his desire to get forward and recover, and physically he's a real specimen. So it was just a fatigue injury, really. So we'll assess that over the next day or two and see the best way of moving forward.
No other injury concerns to speak of?
No, look, obviously Ashley's the only one. We're in a really, really good place in terms of that. We've had to work hard to get that availability, and as I said, with the work that we do right throughout the football club, you know, with medical, sports science and everything, that they're in a good place. And we're putting in big shifts, you know, where the distances and the metrics that we cover, where, you know, they're putting in big shifts, and they're really sort of working for the club, and that's why it's so important that we do everything right. Like I said in my interview the other night about recoveries, and I know a lot has been sort of made of that, but it's right, you know, instead of, you know, out and chopping and doing things that normal people do on a day off or on a rest day, we've got to think athletically, and that's what they do.
You mentioned Croy just then, stepping in again for the skipper, Greg Doherty. He missed Tuesday night, obviously, because of the birth of his son. Is he now available after that? And as importantly, if not more, probably, how's mother and baby doing?
Yeah, look, all good. And I looked, that was another tongue-in-cheek comment that I made the other day in terms of stuff that look, me and Doc spoke prior, a few weeks before, and could he arrange to do that? And it did, because that was the only availability. So I wasn't being that he casually arranged that and didn't think anything to do with the game. But look, there was the only time that surgeon was available, so that's when we booked it in there. And the tongue-in-cheek comment is when he's missed games lately, we've actually, Croy's come in and done brilliantly, and we've won the game. So it gives you a dilemma, which, you know, sometimes could be to the skipper's detriment. But the skipper's so vital to us in terms of how he is around the place, what he does. You know, it kills him to miss games, to miss training, to miss anything. He wants to be involved in anything. So he's back and chomping at the bit, and then there's a decision to make there in terms of everything. But it's not like Croy comes in for him. It's what we have. We purposely got rid of sort of 3 central midfield players, or allowed 3 central midfield players to move out to the football club, because we felt that we had, you know, sort of 5 that can really, really compete, and then we'd know we'd need those and be able to just call upon those all the time. So all we've done is, you know, a bit of a rotation there it was enforced rotation, but that's what he did, and I thought Croy was excellent.
Wigan up next at the Valley. They've had a disappointing season so far, but have just replaced Sean Maloney with Ryan Lowe. Does that make it difficult to prepare for Wigan as an opposition on Saturday?
No, not at all. It's all about us. We prepare how we prepare, and, you know, whatever we can do, we've just got to be the best versions of ourselves. And that's all you can concentrate on, you know, regardless of who's in charge, who takes the game, what system, how they think, what uplift they get. Don't matter. It's all about us, and that's what we believe. And as long as we're the best versions of ourselves, then that's all I'm concerned about.
Cheers, Nathan. Good luck.
Thank you.